happy to be here to be interviewing you, Michael.
Yeah, happy to have you here.
And my first question is basically, I'll just jump into that immediately because I was quite an avid Go Battle League player.
Yeah.
And first things first, just in general, are there any big plans concerning that?
I would say the biggest plan is we know that there have been a number of frustrations from players in terms of consistency or missing frame drops and whatnot, where at the very highest level of competition that can be the difference between a win or a loss. And so our team's been really hard at work at completely overhauling the system architecture under the hood. And so we're very hopeful that within the next, I hesitate to give a time frame, but we're very hopeful that the changes that we'll be implementing will add to a much smoother PvP experience for players both in Go Battle League and then also in player challenges, so things like the Play Pokémon circuit.
Well, that sounds wonderful already. Of course, in the official tournaments, you have the choose 6, pick 3 format.
Yes.
Is that something planned for the Go Battle League as well?
That's definitely a common request that I hear from especially our really hardcore PvP players. Right now, we don't have any plans to introduce that to Go Battle League. I do think for us, we want to always make sure that the official battle experiences in-game are as approachable to as many players as possible. I do think that the Bring 6, Pick 3 format is a high skill type of a format, and it adds to a lot of strategy. It makes for a really great spectator experience at the Play Pokemon tournaments. But I do think that might be a little bit of a, hurdle too high for maybe more casual players to get into PvP. So the way that I view it, Go Battle League should serve as a great opportunity for players to dip their toe into competitive Pokemon Go. And then we always plan on collaborating with the Pokemon Company International to ensure that Go is integrated into the Play Pokemon circuit. And that's where people can go if they really want to take that step further in their competitive experience.
Yeah, well, understandable, of course. For myself, it's a bit of a shame because of the training aspect, as in practicing for tournaments. It would have been wonderful to do that in Go Battle League.
Yeah.
And yes, you can, sort of, but of course it's not entirely the same. But yeah, I do understand that it's definitely a hurdle you should go over to go that extra step of, well, strategizing more even. Yeah, okay, I get that. One final question about the Go Battle League is there were, well, at least one, but I think twice maybe, like kind of cool down seasons, in which you could not go to Legend, but was just ranked 20, and then you would get a Pikachu Libre that could not be shiny. Any plans on doing more of the cool down seasons here and there?
Yeah, we haven't had that one in a while. Typically, we've tried to line that up with other changes that were, happening in the PvP space. So we're probably overdue for one of those, I will say. But yeah, nothing to announce at this point on when or whether or not we will bring that back.
But you do still have it in mind, so
yes,
that's good. Yeah, that's especially for well, when we're talking about hurdles, it would be nice to have some people. Well, hey, it won't be that competitive this time, so yeah. And of course, getting the Pikachu Libre for people. Speaking of special Pikachu or other costumes, how do you decide which costumes you bring back or not?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I've been getting a similar question a lot recently. I think for us, it really just needs to be thematically relevant to what's happening in the game at any given point in time. Sometimes that means that we'll bring back older costumes, and then sometimes that means we're going to launch new costumes in the game. I think over the last 9 years, there have now been such a large variety of costumes, and I understand that there are players that might have missed out on ones previously that are looking to add them to their collection. So we do want to think through carefully how to solve that pain point for our players.
Okay, well, that sounds good as well. I'm going to guess there will always be costumes that will never return, or is it never say never?
I always say never, but you know, it could be something that might take many, many years to potentially come back. But as I've mentioned before, we really do look at Pokemon Go as a forever game, and so if you think about the, you know, infinite continuum of time, I think there's always a likelihood that something will come back.
Okay, great. There's one costume in particular that is not just a costume, but is in fact also, well, there I go again, PvP relevant.
Sure, yeah.
And that is the armored Mewtwo.
Right.
Are there any plans that you can share?
No plans that I can share. That was, as players know, a really fun collaboration that we did with the Pokemon anime. And definitely something that I personally really cherish in my collection, but I also know that's something that a lot of players are looking to add to their collection as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that as well. And well, especially if you want used, for example, in Ultra League, then not having it kind of hurts people.
Yeah, for sure.
There was also a collaboration between Pokemon Go and the trading card game.
Yes.
Which I thought myself was really good. I collected many cards in the past, and then I stopped collecting because it was just insane. But the Pokemon Go and trading card game collaboration, I wanted to collect again because, yeah, it's also Pokemon Go. Are there any other plans for that?
No plans that I can announce right now. That actually was one of my most cherished projects that I got to personally work on. So I would love to do things like that in the future, or continue to do things like that in the future. We're always collaborating with the Pokemon Company for fun and unexpected things for our players. But yeah, that trading card game collection is one that will be a cherished memory for sure, for me.
Yeah, well, for me as well then. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love the fact also how you implemented the Ditto card. Yeah, that was so amazing. Cool. Yeah, love that a lot. So yeah, definitely like that. And also just having the codes for in-game. Right. So the next thing that's on the list, the next big thing for Pokemon Go is bottle caps.
Yes.
Can you share how they work, as in how many stats and what do we need to think about? Well, I know it's to do with a buddy, but yeah, how many stats will they add, or yeah, things like that.
Yeah, this is something I've been so excited to add to the game for many years now. So bottle caps in Pokemon Go are gonna allow you to pick a Pokemon to hyper train with. And once you go through a hyper training process, which is actually quite a high effort experience to go through, you'll be able to take any Pokemon to their maximum stat potential. Whether their stats start at 0, 0, 0 or 10, 11, 14, any Pokemon will be able to reach the max. Super excited for that. It does take a lot of effort to make that happen. I would say, I've personally been beta testing that feature for the past month or so, and this is the most that I've grinded in the game in a long time, which is a lot of fun. So I hope our players are as excited for that feature as I've been to build it and play it.
Excellent. Well, that sounds amazing, because I thought just like in the main series games, you have bottle caps, but they only add a little bit of stats. But this one, you can go from your absolutely horrendous Pokemon in terms of stats to a perfect one.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I also love the fact that you really have to do something for it, because yes, there are of course always challenges that are a bit more difficult, but most of the time Pokemon Go keeps it pretty light. So I actually quite like the fact there's a bit of a challenge here.
Yeah, definitely.
and it's quite rewarding too. So
very rewarding. You have a full year to finish your hyper training once you start it. So there's time if people want to take it more easy. I'm a big grinder, so it definitely has me out there for all my free time to continue hyper training my. My favorite Pokemon is Machamp, and we just had Gigantamax Machamp Max Battle Day. So I was lucky enough to get a shiny Gigantamax Machamp, and I'm definitely training that one up.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I mean, and also, it will be the best fighting Gigantamax as far as we know, at least. Maybe in the future there will be new ones. We never know. But for now, that will be the best one. So amazing.
Yeah.
Also, a question about, because it's a new feature from the main series games. There are multiple features like abilities, breeding. Those are the two big ones I have in my head.
Yep.
Are there? No, I know you have nothing to announce for now. I'm certain of that. But is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, we're always trying to figure out what makes sense for Pokemon Go. Sometimes that means that we take inspiration from the main series games, and other times that means that we come up with unique experiences that are more authentic to the Pokemon Go experience that we're trying to create, such as raid battles. So yeah, nothing to announce today, and unfortunately, but we're always trying to consider what are areas to take inspiration from versus what are areas to create from scratch.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah, and especially the fact that, and I'm very happy that you just called it a forever game again.
Yeah.
Because I, kind of think that I will be playing this forever. So it's good to hear that the developers are on par with that still. Yeah. Also, of course, many players have already reached level 50. You probably get asked this a lot. Will you increase the level cap? But my question is more in terms of doing things with experience, instead of just increasing the level cap, using the experience for that. Have you thought of different things to do with the experience?
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, we're definitely trying to think through what's the next end game chase for players as more people around the world reach the maximum level in Pokemon Go. We want to make sure that there's always something new for them to continue to make progress towards. I really, I'm biased, but I'm personally a fan of how we approach the level cap increase from 40 to 50. It wasn't purely experience-based, but it instead gave players other things to work on in order to progress. So whether or not we're going to be increasing the level cap specifically, I think what's more important for us is figuring out what is a fun experience that our late game players can dabble in to really feel that sense of progression and mastery in Pokemon Go.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good to hear. Yeah, I still use my lucky eggs when I become best friends with people, but I'm also sometimes like, yeah, isn't this a bit pointless? I have so much experience now, but I don't do anything with it.
Right,
It's not like starters that I can use to improve my Pokemon or do things with.
Yeah. Well, hey, bragging rights. I know a lot of people do use their total experience points as sort of a showcase for how much they play the game, which I think is really fun and useful too.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, that's also kind of a big thing in Pokemon Go, just in general. Look at how many shinies I have. Yeah. Look at this perfect shiny I have. Yeah, and then you have people who are just like, I have this many million Stardust, or I have this many million experience. So yeah, I get that too. Yeah. Then another topic entirely. Yeah. Recently, Niantic has been bought by Scopely. How did the transition affect the overall process of Pokemon Go? Were there any big things that you thought like, well, we are doing this very differently now than we would have done that before?
Yeah, I think the most noteworthy thing about this acquisition is how little disruptive it has been for the team. Now, granted, we only closed regulatory approval at the end of May, so it's still very, very recent. But even in talking with the executives at Scopely, something they've always reassured us throughout this conversation has been that the way they operate is they give each individual game teams full autonomy of what they want to do and build. And that's important for us because Pokemon Go is such a different game than any other. So being able to still be true to our mission for the game of getting people outside and exercising and meeting other players in person, that's something that we're going to continue to bring forward with us. And the biggest difference, I would say, is now we have the benefit of being at a company that's fully focused on games, that has lots of great teams that we can work with and learn from, and also, hopefully they can learn from us as well on how we've managed not just Pokemon Go, but all of our other games in our catalog. So yeah, I think that's going to lead to a lot of awesome improvements to the Pokemon Go experience. I know that they're very interested in these live events that we do, like Go Fest. So my dream is that we'll be able to continue to expand on these experiences, which I know that players really love and cherish as well. So.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to hear that not much will change other than good things.
Yeah.
So yeah, very happy about that. Many players were dreading
I know
the takeover.
Yep.
But yeah, happy to hear this. There was one final thing, now that I think about it, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I completely forgot before.
No worries.
But there was one thing that myself and other players were not too happy about. And that was hatching collection challenges.
Yes.
Will you stop doing those?
Yeah, I think, we definitely hear the feedback loud and clear from players. I personally was not able to complete the most recent one myself, in part because, I was quite busy with Go Fest and their different egg Pokemon during Go Fest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the team's always looking at feedback from players. Will we do away with them forever? I'm not sure if I can make that statement, but if there are ways that we can improve that experience, right? Like where maybe if there is a hatching collection challenge, there's also great hatching bonuses that you can have to help you achieve that. But yeah, feedback heard.
I'm happy to hear that as well, because my goodness, was that difficult. I was walking so much, but I kept getting the wrong eggs. That was just the biggest frustration that I had.
Totally.
But yes, happy that the feedback has been heard.
Yeah.
And I guess we will find out then.
Yeah. Maybe to that point though, philosophically, I guess it's worth sharing that I personally believe some of that friction is great and healthy for the game. Hearing you say that you went out and walked so much more because of that collection challenge, well, that actually is the type of behavior we want to encourage for
Uh-oh.
players. Yeah. Not in as punishing of a way. Hopefully it feels more rewarding to do that. But yeah, I think putting together experiences that encourage players to go outside and experience the world beyond just what's on your phone screen is something that's always been really important to us and something that we want to continue to lean into. So,
oh, that's good. I hope I didn't ruin this for other players. I mean, let me reiterate. I walked more, but frustrated.
Yes, which is not a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Michael, thank you very much for this interview.
Of course. Yeah, my pleasure.